Hey, queens! Ever noticed how the strongest women sometimes make the same relationship mistakes over and over? Pause. Yeah, me too. Today's video isn't your typical dating advice. We're going deep into the 9 crucial mistakes that even the smartest women make with men, and trust me. Number 6 had me completely shook. Whether you're crushing hard, healing from heartbreak, or living your best single life, these ancient Stoic principles are about to change your whole game. No sugarcoating, no BS, just raw truth that'll have you saying, "Where was this advice when I needed it?" If you're ready to level up your relationship game and protect your peace like never before, smash that subscribe button and let's get into it. Because ladies, what you're about to learn, it's a total game changer. Number 1, let's talk about something that hits close to home: losing your identity. You know that feeling when you start morphing into someone's girlfriend instead of staying the amazing woman you are? Pause. Yeah, that's exactly what we're diving into first. Picture this: you're thriving in your life, crushing your goals, living for you, then suddenly, you meet him, and before you know it, you're canceling your morning yoga, skipping girls' night, and checking your phone every 2 minutes. Sound familiar? The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus would be shaking his head right now, because he knew something powerful. No one can lose your identity but you. Here's the raw truth. The moment you start dimming your light to make someone else shine brighter, you're not just losing yourself, you're giving away your power. I see it all the time in my DMs. I don't even know who I am anymore. But here's where Stoic wisdom drops some serious truth bombs. You know what's wild? Research shows that 67% of women report losing touch with their personal interests during relationships. Let that sink in. We're literally putting our lives on pause for someone who might not even be in the picture next year. So here's your wake-up call. Your identity isn't up for negotiation. Those dreams you had before he came along, still valid. That career goal you've been chasing, still important. That weekly art class you love, non-negotiable. Because at the end of the day, the right person adds to your life. They don't subtract from who you are. Number 2, emergency plan syndrome. Ladies, let's have a real talk about treating a man like your backup plan. Pause. You know exactly what I mean. Keeping him around just in case your dreams don't work out. Listen, I get it. Society's been pushing this narrative that we need a safety net in heels, but here's what Seneca, one of the realest philosophers out there, said. Expecting is the biggest impediment to living. Translation: living in what-if mode is stealing your right now. And let me paint you a picture. You're dating someone, but you're not all in. Maybe you're keeping your dating apps just to check, or you've got that ex on speed dial for those lonely Sunday nights. Research from the Journal of Social Psychology shows that 43% of women admit to keeping backups, and guess what? It's not just hurting them, it's sabotaging their chances at real connection. Here's the thing. Men can sense when they're your plan B, and more importantly, you deserve better than living in the waiting room of your own life. Your happiness isn't a backup plan, it's the main event. Number 3, and this one's a game changer. The validation vortex. You know that rush you get when your phone lights up with his name, that dopamine hit when he finally texts back? Yeah, we need to talk about that. Marcus Aurelius dropped this truth bomb centuries ago. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But here we are in 2025. Letting our self-worth bounce around like a ping-pong ball based on someone else's attention. Check this out. A recent psychology study found that women who seek constant validation in relationships are 70% more likely to experience anxiety and depression. But why? Because we're outsourcing our happiness to someone else's inbox. Think about it. How many times have you checked your phone in the last hour? How many times have you rewritten a text to sound perfect? We're turning ourselves into emotional pretzels for what? A blue check mark? A heart emoji? The Stoic truth is this. Your value isn't measured in read receipts. The moment you stop seeking his approval is the moment you start actually living. And trust me, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who knows her worth isn't up for debate. Number 4, the Great Expectations Trap. And ladies, this one's hitting close to home. Remember when we used to watch those rom-coms thinking Prince Charming was just around the corner? Pause. Well, Stoic philosophy's got some tea to spill about that. Epictetus kept it real when he said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." Think about all those times you've created an entire future with someone who barely remembers your coffee order. We're not just talking about basic expectations here. We're talking about that Pinterest board of wedding dresses when you're 3 dates in. The numbers don't lie. Psychology Today reports that 82% of relationship disappointments stem from unmet expectations. We're writing whole novels in our heads while he's still trying to figure out if he wants to grab dinner next week. Here's the real glow-up moment. When you stop expecting men to fit into your pre-written script, you start seeing them for who they actually are. No more projecting. No more, "He'll change." No more, "But he has potential." Either he meets your standards or he doesn't, and both answers are okay. Number 5. The emotional bank account overdraft. This one's about giving so much of yourself that you end up emotionally bankrupt. Pause and trust me, your heart isn't a credit card with unlimited balance. Seneca dropped this wisdom bomb. No one can live a happy life if he only thinks of himself and turns everything to his own purpose. But flip that. You can't live a happy life if you're constantly putting everyone else's emotional needs before your own either. Here's a shocking stat. Research shows that women spend an average of 7.2 hours per week managing their partner's emotions. That's basically a whole workday. Meanwhile, we're running on emotional empty, wondering why we feel so drained. Let's get real. If you're constantly playing therapist, cheerleader, and life coach for someone who can't even ask how your day was, it's time to close the emotional ATM. Your emotional energy is precious. Invest it where it grows, not where it goes. Number 6. The overinvestment illusion. Ladies, gather around because this might be the most expensive mistake we make. And I'm not talking about money. Pause. Ever caught yourself investing in potential instead of reality? Here's a truth bomb from Marcus Aurelius that hits different. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. But let's update that for 2025. The best investment is not losing yourself while trying to build someone else up. The science is wild on this one. Relationship experts found that women spend an average of 2.5 years in relationships they know aren't working, hoping their investment will eventually pay off. That's 912 days of your life banking on maybes. And here's the kicker, and studies show that 78% of women admit to staying in relationships because of the time they've already invested. The sunk cost fallacy is real, queens. Think of it like this. If your best friend told you she was sticking with a bad investment because she'd already lost money on it, what would you tell her? Yet here we are, doing the same thing with our hearts and time. Number 7. The authenticity sacrifice. This one's about the masks we wear and the parts of ourselves we hide because we think they're too much. Pause. And let me tell you, dimming your light never got anyone the love they deserved. Epictetus wasn't playing when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In 2025 terms, stop pretending to love sports if you don't. Stop saying you're fine with casual when you want commitment. Stop laughing at jokes that make you uncomfortable. Recent psychology studies show something fascinating. Women who maintain their authenticity in relationships report 60% higher satisfaction rates. Yet 65% of us admit to downplaying our achievements, opinions, or interests to appear more attractive. Make it make sense. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you have to create a highlight reel version of yourself to keep someone interested, you're not in a relationship. You're in a marketing campaign. And baby girl, you're not a product to be sold. Number 8, the chemistry over clarity trap. And this one, queens, might just be the game changer you've been waiting for. Pause, we've all been there. Those butterflies in your stomach are doing backflips. The spark is electric, but something in your gut is screaming, "Pay attention." Here's what's fascinating. The ancient Stoic Musonius Rufus said something that hits different today. We shouldn't trust the masses who say only the pleasure-filled life is worth living. Instead, trust only the philosophers who say only the beautiful life is worth living. In 2025 terms, stop letting that chemistry override your clarity. Let's get into some mind-blowing science here. Research from the Journal of Behavioral Psychology shows that women are 65% more likely to ignore red flags when experiencing intense physical attraction. Our brains literally get flooded with dopamine and oxytocin. It's like being drunk on love, but with a much worse hangover. Picture this. You meet someone who makes your heart race. The connection is fire. But they're showing up late. being inconsistent with communication, or their actions don't match their words. Yet there you are, making excuses because when it's good, it's really good. Sound familiar? Here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that relationships based primarily on chemical attraction have a 75% higher failure rate within the first 18 months. Why? Because chemistry fades, but character is forever. Let me break this down into real talk. That unexplainable connection isn't worth explaining away red flags. Those butterflies in your stomach shouldn't silence the voice in your head. That intense chemistry isn't a valid reason to compromise your standards. The Stoic truth bomb: trust your intuition over your intensity. As Marcus Aurelius would say, look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Here's your power move. Create a clarity checklist. Before you dive deep into those feelings, ask yourself, do their actions align with their words? Are they consistent in showing up for you? Do they respect your boundaries? Can you be yourself around them? Do they add peace to your life? Because here's the thing. Chemistry without clarity is like driving a car with a blindfold on. Sure, it's exciting, but is it worth the crash? Number 9, the self-abandonment spiral. Pause. This might be the most important principle we've covered today, so grab your notes, queens, because this one's personal. Picture waking up one day and realizing you've become a supporting character in your own life story. That's what self-abandonment looks like. And it's not just about relationships, it's about forgetting who you were before he came along. Let me hit you with some wisdom from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. If you want to improve, you must be content to be thought foolish and stupid. But here's my 2025 translation. Stop abandoning your path just because someone else isn't walking it with you. The research on this is mind-blowing. A recent study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that 72% of women report putting their personal goals on hold during serious relationships. Think about that. Nearly 3/4 of us are pressing pause on our dreams for someone else's play button. Here's what self-abandonment actually looks like in real life. Canceling your grad school plans because he needs more time together. Turning down that promotion because it might threaten the relationship. Letting your passport collect dust because he's not ready to travel. Shrinking your dreams to fit someone else's comfort zone. But here's where Stoic philosophy drops the mic. When Marcus Aurelius said the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it, he wasn't just dropping Instagram quotes. He was telling us that we have the power to rewrite our story at any moment. So here's your wake-up call. Your dreams aren't optional extras in your life story. They're the whole plot. That business you want to start it. That degree you want to pursue it. That solo trip you've been dreaming about, book it. Because here's the truth that changed my life. The right person won't ask you to abandon yourself. They'll encourage you to become more of who you are. Queens, we've just taken a deep dive into 9 life-changing principles that aren't just about relationships. They're about reclaiming your power and living life on your own terms. But before you go, let's talk about why these Stoic principles hit different in 2025. And you see, when we started this journey together, we weren't just talking about what not to do with men. We were uncovering ancient wisdom that's more relevant today than ever before. Think about it. In a world of instant gratification, dating apps, and social media pressure, these timeless truths are like a compass pointing us back to ourselves. Remember how we talked about losing your identity, about emergency plan syndrome, about the validation vortex? Each of these principles circles back to one fundamental truth. Your worth isn't negotiable and your peace isn't optional. Let's break down what happens when you actually apply these principles in your life. Your standards rise naturally because you're no longer operating from a place of lack. Your relationships become clearer because you're seeing them through the lens of wisdom, not wishes. Your decisions get easier because they're aligned with your values, not your fears. Your energy stays protected because you're no longer over-investing in uncertain returns. Your authenticity shines because you're no longer dimming your light to make others comfortable. Here's what's beautiful about Stoic philosophy. It's not about becoming hard or cold, it's about becoming wise and intentional. It's about understanding that true power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering ourselves. The statistics we discussed throughout this video paint a clear picture. Too many of us are still playing small, Still settling, still sacrificing our essence for relationships that don't serve our highest good. But you, watching this right now, you're choosing something different. You're choosing wisdom over wishful thinking, clarity over chemistry, authenticity over approval. As we wrap up, I want you to remember something powerful. Every queen who's ever made history did so, not by following someone else's rules, but by writing her own. Your life is your masterpiece. Paint it in bold strokes, vibrant colors, and don't apologize for taking up space on the canvas. If this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. Share it with that friend who needs to hear this today. Drop a comment below and let me know which principle hit home for you. Let's keep this conversation going. Remember, you're not just living life, you're creating a legacy. Make it one that would make your future self proud. Until next time, keep shining, keep growing, and most importantly, keep choosing yourself first. Because that's not just smart, that's queen behavior. Stay wise, stay authentic, and I'll see you in the next video.